Hey guys, it's Jake from State Fun. Today we're working on the wood chipper again. So if you haven't already seen the videos about this wood chipper, they're linked in the description below. You can check them out after this one. But we got this picked up from a friend's place. The engine was locked up, so we got it freed up. We actually got it to run just a little bit, and we replaced the carburetor and spark plugs and a couple of the fuel lines. Now we're going to be putting in a battery, a new fuel tank, and trying to tune on the carburetor just a little bit, see if we can get it to actually run decently. We may even try and see if the chipper portion works. Let's get started. We're going to start out replacing this fuel tank here. It's all rusted up on the inside, so easier to replace it than try and clean it. Got this nice marine grade or marine tank. It's a plastic tank, so it won't be able to rust, and it has a fuel gauge on top. Alrighty, let's see. I think it's got, looks like it's got 4 bolts, one in each corner. They're a 1/2 inch, so we'll see if we can knock them out here. So I'm supposed to try and get a ratchet on, a wrench on that, and this thing. There we go, I got it. Yep, okay, I'm just dropping them off, it's fine. Well, this last one's decided to be a little bit more troublesome. No worries. Can't be tight if it's cut. That'll work. Thank goodness for these carbide tip teeth. That cutting edge would be fried without them. Let's see if this thing will get out of there now. Oh, goodness. Whew. You think we'll be lucky enough the plastic one fits in the same hole? I don't know. So this brand new tank, I've got a fitting that will fit in there and go to a fuel line adapter. Since this Teflon tape comes with the fuel fittings, I'm gonna assume it's rated for fuel. At least I would hope so. A couple layers of that ought to be good. There we go. I don't know how tight you're supposed to go with this, but I'm gonna go good and tight. Let's get it in place. Bloop. Yeah, with the fuel cap kind of so close to there, that might be difficult to fuel up. All right, let's see how difficult it is to fill with a not full can. That really ain't too bad, I guess. I can't even see it. Oh, yeah, it's probably not the best location. Ooh, that would be nice. Easy to fill up, easy to see the fuel gauge. I like that. Let's do it that way. I just gotta find something to prop it up for now. Random pieces of tree. Man, that looks like a pretty good temporary permanent mounting. Yeah, that'll work. So we've got fuel line from previously. All right. Trying to get back out. Ugh. I don't always drop my screwdriver, but when I do, I take the most difficult path to pick it back up possible. Let's go ahead and fuel this up some more. All right, next step here is that fuel filter right there on the carburetor. Got a new one here. Looks like it's the right length. Now, all of the items that I use in this video will have a link in the description below, so make sure you go check that out. Man, I can blow through the new one a whole lot easier. Tastes funny though. There we go. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. That's pretty tight, so I'm gonna stop it there. And hook this fuel line back up here. Got a new battery for it. We'll hook that up and we can try and crank her up. So, went to Walmart. Got myself an EverStart value. That way I know it won't ever start. I won't use it very often, so I know no matter what battery I put in there, it's probably gonna go dead. I will most likely put a solar maintainer on this thing to try and keep the battery somewhat charged up, and then maybe that'll work. Let's get it in though, because at least then it will have something to start with this time. Well, there it is. Let's see if it's enough to get this thing running. We ain't got no fuel in the carburetor right now. Let's see if we can get some fuel pumped up here. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, there it went for just a second. We got electricals now. Probably gonna need to make some stronger, like thicker gauge wire connections, because it's getting hot and melting some of these wires. All right, I'm gonna find something else to transfer it to first. So I put it into a Diet Mountain Dew can. Kind of looks the same. Let's see how well I do without spilling all over the place. Yep, it's going all over the place. We'll just keep going and see what happens. Maybe it'll fire off of that little bit of gas I spilled. There we go. Oh, yeah, it got too hot. That's the wire that's supposed to be connected to the solenoid, and I think it got hot and melted. It melted because it started to fall off of the post. To keep it from falling off the post, I'm gonna try and wrap it around the post even more. Best way to keep it off the post, or keep it from melting, would be to get a wire connector that I need. I ain't got time for that though. All right, now that it is more sufficiently redneck together, I'm gonna hook the battery up. Maybe we'll get it to fire. Here we go. Well, that was nice and clean sounding. I thought the fuel pump worked. Maybe I need to try and prime the line. I tried to prime the fueling system a little bit, if that helps. Should see fuel come out right here at some point. I thought that fuel pump was working before. Well, I guess I'll get a fuel pump, then we'll try again. Got ourselves a new fuel pump here and a new connector so we can undo the red neck that we did earlier. That should make nice contact and be a little bit safer too. Let's get started on the fuel pump though. All right, should probably try and clean that off a little bit, make sure that I have a good gasket seal against it. So I really should have guessed that the old one would have been bad. You just imagine that it works and all of a sudden you've convinced yourself it does. When in actuality, it probably never worked. I know I should probably be using a line wrench, but I don't have one handy. Standard wrench it is. Rounding off the thing as much as I can, obviously. That's fine. Maybe put our fuel hose. Okay. All right, y'all let me know if you see fuel coming through this filter right here. That'll be a good sign that it's actually pumping. All right, y'all ready? Any fuel movement down there? Looks like it. So I'm trying to make sure that I see fuel coming out of the top line, and then once I do, I'll connect it to the carburetor, and after that we should get fuel to the carburetor, so it should start up. No fuel up there yet. Pump definitely seems to be pumping it because it filled up the bowl there. I wonder if that old rusted fuel line is all clogged up. This line right here, I wonder if it's clogged up. Try and clean it out, or a new line and replace it. Yeah, it's leaking fuel out right there. We're gonna go ahead and take this fuel line off and set it up high so it won't drain all the fuel out of my tank. Tastes funny, but I can blow through it. I wonder if it just takes a while to fill up the fuel pump and the line. Let's go clean this out. Well, a little bit of brake clean and an air hose. It can blow through it pretty easily now. I'm not gonna demonstrate because it just tastes too funny. So that'll go up there. This comes down to here. I guess this pump may not be exactly like the other one, but let's get this reattached. What the heck, let's give it a shot now. Let's see if we can get some fuel out of this line, and then I'll connect it up to the new filter. Here we go. Well, there was a little bit of fuel there. Tighten it down. Still gotta fill the fuel bowl up before it'll fire off, but at least we're getting fuel to the fuel bowl now. All right, I might feed it a little bit of fuel, get it to fire over, that way it will pump a little bit stronger. Maybe that'll help fill it up faster. All right, some pretty strong Diet Mountain Dew going in. Let's see what the choke's set at. Choke's set pretty tight. I'm actually gonna loosen that up. I know I don't have it electrically connected yet, but God, that was tight. So from what I understand, you want just a little bit of tension on that carburetor flap. So the fuel pump does get fuel up here a little bit, but I would have thought it would have been pushing more. Just doesn't seem quite right to me, but I basically got no fuel in there again. Huh, I don't know what the heck that could be. There we go. Oh, that's out of fuel again. It ran for as long as it had fuel, and the water's moving around in the radiator, so I guess the water pump works. When you clamp it down, it's pushing on that and closing the valve. So when it's clamped down, that's in the way. So you see here, gasket's sitting just barely on top. There's a gap right there between the carburetor and the gasket. When I press down as if I'm clamping down on it, it lifts the float up. And I'm gonna guess that that lift is enough to close this to where it's not fueling anymore. Might even get it stuck. Right there is closed. That's ridiculous, man. All right, so I ground that lip down some. The valve back on. Maybe now we'll be able to get fuel in my fuel dually whopper. Now the gasket should clear. It started bubbling a lot when I took that out. Not getting fuel right there. Why is that? Fuel pouring out of that there now. Woo! You see that fuel shoot up then? That should be okay on the adjustment side. I got a little bit in the fuel make it happener. I've been watching Vice Grip Garage too much. That screw doesn't want to go in, but I'll probably end up taking this back off anyway, so we'll leave it like that and see if she'll run for a second. That's annoying. So why is my fuel pump not pumping fuel? All right, so I did some thinking and a little bit of playing around with the skid steer. Check that video out when it posts. But I did a little bit of thinking, and with the gas tank connected directly to the carburetor, it flows fuel pretty good. And when I had it disconnected from the pump, it pumped the last little bit of fuel that was in the pump out very quickly. I didn't remember seeing any of that quick fuel delivery when the gas tank was hooked to the pump. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a restriction. That got to me to thinking maybe that fuel filter I put in the way is actually in the way and preventing the pump from being able to suck through the filter. Now for mechanical pumps, I think it's best to do a screen before the pump and a filter after the pump. At least that's my thought. That's what I've always seen. I just didn't even think about it here. For an electronic fuel pump, you would do like a low, I think it's called a low density fuel filter, one that has larger holes in a screen essentially before the pump, and then a tighter woven fuel filter after the pump. I just kind of went fuel pump, put a filter in there. Maybe I shouldn't have. The carburetor does have a new fuel filter there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna run a solid line from the tank to the pump without the filter in the way and see if maybe that will fix my issue. So let's get that done and we'll see if she'll run a little longer. Not terribly difficult to blow through. Definitely not as easy as this unfiltered line though. I'm gonna start turning the motor over and we should see fuel come out up here near the fuel filter there. Alrighty, let's see if it'll at least pump fuel and if it'll crank. Guess we'll find out. Here we go. That's a good bit of fuel pumpage. A lot more than what I saw yesterday. Here we go. I spoke too soon, I guess. I changed the fuel mixture screws to be as rich as possible. We'll see if it runs like that. Oh, actually we may have ran out of fuel again. Why is that? I think I might take the top off of this again and just check it. Let's see if it shoots fuel like this. That's got barely any fuel coming in. Why? Is it the stinking filter here? It's freaking brand new. Well, let's try taking this filter off. It's already real nasty inside the carburetor bowl. Found another one. It's not brand new, but can easily blow through it. So that should help a lot. I guess I must have just clogged up my brand new filter with the crap out of the old hardline. Wasn't a very smart idea. You live and learn, I guess. I'd say that helped. I don't know if you could see the fuel almost splash me in the face or not, but that's better. Let's see this thing run. Oh, let me hook up my choke cable again. Hang on. There we go. We got fuel in the bowl now, it seems. Well, it's running. Doesn't sound like it's running on all 8, so we'll have to diagnose that. But getting kind of antsy, so I kind of want to see if it'll actually chip something. Let's do it. Here's the engagement for the chipper. Turn that on and see if it'll actually turn the rear on without exploding the belt. Here we go. Well, it did some. There it is. Will it chip? Just barely. Well, I think that'll probably wrap it up for today. We did find out it will run off of its own fuel tank. We did get to find out that the governor actually works okay. The alternator does not work. It's not running on all 8, but we'll get those fixed. And then the next time you see this will probably be in a land clearing video. So make sure you subscribe so you see that later on. This has been fun. I've actually really enjoyed getting this thing working and enjoyed seeing it actually chip some wood. Very excited to see it when it's at top-notch performance, let's say, and we can chip some really big stuff. Big may go to that size, I don't know. We'll see what size it can do. Thanks for watching though. Y'all have a good one. Pretty strong Diet Mountain Dew going in. Ever start value. That way I know it won't ever start. I don't always drop my screwdriver, but when I do, I take the most difficult path to pick it back up possible.